The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Time to close out with a song for this week. Joining me again from Halloween Never Dies podcast, Sabina Graves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be here.
Of course. Today's song and video comes to us from No Doubt. Simple Kind of Life was the third single from 2000's Return of Saturn, but it's like the second single in promotion of the album because the song New was from the Go soundtrack. This one also had the songs Ex-Girlfriend and Bathwater. Simple Kind of Life was the most successful single off Saturn, peaking at number 38 on the Hot 100, number 32 on the Top 40 mainstream, 14 on Modern Rock, and 18 on Adult Top 40. It failed to do anything outside the U.S., though. And New and Ex-Girlfriend did well in the alternative charts, but Simple Kind of Life did not. Kids didn't want to get slow jammed, apparently. And it came, Return of Saturn came 5 years after Tragic Kingdom. That's like an eternity now for people between albums. Produced by Glenn Ballard, he of possibly the biggest album of that decade, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. And he followed this up with Dave Matthews Band's Every Day. And he worked on everything from like Thriller to Bad, Van Halen, Wilson Phillips, Aerosmith, Shakira, Katy Perry, OAR, Goo Goo Dolls. Guys had a hand in a lot of hits. Return of Saturn debuted at number 2, but was caught behind NSYNC's No Strings Attached, went platinum, selling over 1,587,000 copies in the U.S., nominated for Best Rock Album at the Grammys, but lost to Foo Fighters' Nothing Left to Lose. Do you know what else was nominated that year?
No, it was nominated.
I love these. All right, I love these. Bon Jovi's Crush, Matchbox 20's Mad Season, and Rage Against the Machine's Battle of Los Angeles.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you're a Return to Saturn person, or Return of Saturn? Sorry, can't say it's 2. So is this like, was this like your more introduction to No Doubt, or was it like just awesome follow-up, guys?
I would say it was awesome follow-up. So strangely, I was introduced to No Doubt pretty early. I had a cousin who like had handed me and my other goth cousin, me and my other goth cousin, there's 2 of us in the family. We were given the No Doubt CD for Tragic Kingdom really early on, and we both really like got attached to it in very, big ways, and for me, I think it would be kind of like there was like so much homage to like Disney in Tragic Kingdom, and kind of like a rock version of it, and it was such a big album growing up, especially like in LA and in Southern California, since they're a Southern California band and it's where I'm from. So as like a teenager, when Return of Saturn kind of like exploded on the scene, it was one of those where it was like, I love this. I wanted to like be in a band, went through that phase of life. I was a movie nerd, but I was also like, I love No Doubt. And, and I think that the lyrics, especially in this album, were very, if you were watching movies of that time, they kind of like, especially it was used in a movie. It kind of like was such a, like, part of the cultural zeitgeist at that point, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I was a Tragic Kingdom kid. They hit me at a time where I was in the alternative, and then I was going to like a little punk and ska phase, and their origins are strongly ska, and it still remains in some of their music. but
Bathwater, for example.
yeah, Bathwater, and there's definite punk and ska and Ex-Girlfriend quite a bit, especially that bass line. And it was weird to me that like Tragic Kingdom was like their third album. Like, oh, what? They have like a little tragic history leading up to Tragic Kingdom, but Tragic Kingdom got shitloads of play for me up and down. And then I remember, because I was a big fan of the band Real Big Fish, and I remember them having a beef with they were friends, and then No Doubt got big. Real Big Fish kind of flash in a pan. I mean, they're still around, but they kind of had like a beef with No Doubt and them getting away from ska stuff or whatever, like probably more of a you got famous and we didn't type deal. But remember that being a big thing around the time of like this album. But yeah, this one I wasn't like, I think I was moving away into weird stuff from this one. I remember this album quite a bit. When I remember her hair for everything for that album was it pink or purple during that, and I was like, oh, but yeah, Gwen Stefani swoon, because she was gifted some of the best looks in history, still to this day.
Yeah, like so old Hollywood, and kind of like how she had various aesthetics through the albums. I think this one's my favorite, just because the hair, the different hair. She had blue and pink hair, I think, throughout this whole thing. I wanted pink hair. Did not work out, unfortunately. But yeah, no, this was like 2000, so it was right when I was reading a lot of like dark and like before emo was emo content, like vampire books and Anne Rice and stuff. So I remember really being into like The Crow. And
did you read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
Yes,
comic?
I read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Donut. We're talking about No Doubt and talking about Johnny the yes.
Yeah, like it was just like that weird, like I was in that like orb of like leading like No Doubt, and then like Evanescence and My Chemical Romance and AFI. I mean, it was like No Doubt, AFI, and you know, the Vincent Black Shadow, like just like indie like bands that were like kind of like grim, and just also kind of theatrical, I would say, because movie nerd. So I like gravitate to the theatrical dark.
Do they sell it at Hot Topic? Cool. I like it.
Yes.
Old Hot Topic.
Old Hot Topic.
When you couldn't see, it was dark in there. It smelled like incense.
Yes. Although Hot Topic's journey is weird. Like I keep trying to quit them and then I can't, because, you know, when it was just mostly music, and then randomly they would have movie teas, you know, I was like, oh, you have movie teas now. Oh, this, you know, and then Fox Lunch is now like the millennial, like,
well, now it's just like
destination.
It's like it and GameStop look alike, but it also looks like FYE. It also looks like the Think Geek store. Like, it's like we all sell Funko Pops and then some of the same things, and then we might have candles, but they have controllers. Like that's the mall store.
Yes.
I still will go to malls, but when I was, I would just drive my car and walk around the mall when I was.
Oh my God, this was definitely a mall kid CD for me, for sure.
There you go. Yeah.
Go
listen to it. And
go listen to it at like the Borders or Barnes and Noble with like the little like headphones, and just like plug it in, and you know, before we could just walk around with albums on our phones.
Right. Yeah. You had to go. You get a sneak peek by going to the listening station, Sam Goody and Tower Records, the Warehouse. Yes. Yeah, all those wonderful places. This single, back to Some Kind of Life, it was a last minute addition to this album. Like she wrote it during a quote unquote PMS moment, about the push and pull of being a rock star, or living the rock star dream versus settling down. They recorded the track with no rehearsals, and she of course wrote it about Gavin Rossdale of Bush. Glycerine,
which was about her, I think.
Was it about her?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm surprised that guy's lyrics sound like he wrote a bunch of things, put them in a hat, and drew them out. One day we'll get to Bush on this show, but who I liked but like when I grew up and go back, I'm like, ooh, what is it? What's he talking about? Like, what is it? Like Glycerine is just stuff. Like it's
Mhm.
fun. It's kind of comical, but it sounds pretty. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's
It
the trick.
sounds romantic.
It
He
sounds
tried.
romantic. He tried.
He
He's
tried.
yeah. I mean, yeah. He like it was like him and Gwen Stefani were like these faces of an alternative nation, and it was like, of course they're the most attractive people. They have to get together. Like right. Like that's how we do things. Like fine,
Mhm.
fine. But the music video director here is Sophie Muller, who also did Don't Speak, Excuse Me, Mr. Sunday Morning, would go on to Bathwater and do a lot of Gwen Stefani solo stuff. She was
Yeah, yeah.
in the No Doubt camp, and I guess she was with Gwen, like staying with Gwen when she wrote this song too. And she was like, I'm doing this video. But she also, aside from No Doubt, she's been very involved with like the Eurythmics and Annie Lennox. She did Weezer video, Say It Ain't So, Coldplay, Garbage, Nelly Furtado, Radiohead. She did Hips Don't Lie by Shakira, John Mayer, Selena Gomez, Blake Shelton, like everywhere. Like it's just a laundry list of like people, and not just like I did a video. She would do like 5 for these people. So
Yeah.
they obviously like working for her. She had like 256 music video credits. Like that ain't no joke.
No doubt.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. I appreciate that. Which TRL did Doubt It. The video, as iconic as I feel it looks, it debuted at number 7 on TRL and fell off after 2 days. Never back in that top 10. I was like, what? I feel like her in the wedding dress running
Yeah.
around. It's like a iconic image. Did they just use it for press, like a picture of that for press or something?
Maybe they were like put off by like the giant blinking birth control like symbol behind her.
Well, like, okay, so that one, so the video has her. The thing they like to do with her is like, oh, this is like her relationship with this band member type thing, which she did have a secret relationship with one of them, but they've had a couple of videos regarding her, and this is her with each band member through the lyrics of the song talking about what looking for in her dreams or man. The one with the drummer has the birth control in the background, but it's also playing like a baby monitor would when like the baby's speaking, so it's kind of like really double creepy with that. And it's got lyrics that revolve around like, what if I didn't take my birth control? I just gotta burn it and force it on me. But yeah, and it's just
the existential crisis of it, you know, being like a really successful woman at that time, and also really wanting to like start a family, which has always been like in a lot of her lyrics, that sort of like suburban like OC Orange County girl sort of thing, which I think has worked out quite well for her.
It has, but like with the challenge of like of that, where it's like, oh, she's rich and famous, like, but with her, like if she gets pregnant, she's got to take time off. That affects,
and at the time she was in her late 20s too,
right?
You know, which back then, and especially like early, like late 90s, early 2000s, it's like, oh, you're old if you're 30, which is insane.
Right. And like she would have to take time off. They had just hit success with one album. You never know what the follow-up's gonna do. And this follow-up, sales wise, everything was considered a disappointment because it didn't live up to the Tragic Kingdom impact, which is why they have an album come out the very next year in 2001. But like she has to take that off. She has to get her body back after that. And she has to then have the thing with leaving children. Like it's a whole, like, I don't think people think it's not that easy, especially when you are a rock star and you have to live your life on the road. Like that's where, I mean, you can sell all the albums you want, but it then becomes so complex. So it's a very deep song. It's very honest. Very, very, yeah, very true. And they never know, like the time you take off to have the baby stuff, you then have to come back. You have to get back. It's insane.
No, for sure.
Go Hollywood, right?
Yeah. Just, but you know, I think after this was rock steady, and after that, or during that, I think that's when she and Rosdale got married. and then they had their kids after that. That
Mhm.
was, I think they no doubt did take a break. They called it a break,
Right.
before the official, I mean, I guess sort of dismantling.
Well,
of
they
it.
had like a greatest hits come out with
Mhm.
a cover as like a single,
Yeah.
and then she went solo,
Yeah.
and then they didn't have another album till 2012, and
Mhm.
they haven't had one since. I don't think. She's been on The
Nope.
Voice. She met a young man named Blake, and after ending a marriage with Mr. Rossdale. But yeah, that's kind of went like interesting though. But yeah, so she did get to live her dream of
Yes.
the rock star and the and that and this one,
And
so like
finding like a guy to settle down with,
yeah,
and they just got married, I think this year, recently too.
gotcha. Like each band member has their own background or stuff in this. There's a little more like is it Arabian background that he's playing in, and then there's the Saturn background and the birth
Mhm.
control background. With that, this kind of like reminds me of the Don't Speak type video, kind of in a way, different thing. I have to say, like some of the one of the place, there's a room they go in, and there's all the wedding cakes,
Mhm.
and they're smashing with hammers, and just the
I love
angles,
the imagery.
the
Yeah.
set. It's oh god, that's fantastic art direction. Like that is
Mhm.
just amazing. Like I could just like pause and look at that and
And,
be like, that's cool as fuck.
and this is prime when like rom-coms were huge too.
Right? Yeah.
You have like those like movies where like, woman's approaching a certain age, and then, like she has to meet the one. When will she meet the one? And when will she get married and start a
Mhm.
family and stuff? So I really like that this was also like a commentary on that, especially like
Right.
the bride almost in sort of that in those moments specifically.
Yeah. And then yeah, so it's like gotta find the right one. There's problems with them. The one when he hears about a baby bolts.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then they all chase her down in their tuxes, and they end up in a cemetery where she finds the baby. And there's helicopters and stuff, and then it turns out it's a movie set, and she hands the baby to somebody and goes gets her makeup. It's like, is that it's a commentary. It's like, is that what I want? Like, here's kid, gotta go do movie stuff. Like it's, I don't know if it's a positive experience that she could bring the kid on set and be spending time, or if that's just a, I don't know. Because who's the person she hands it to? We don't meet that person till like the end. Like, is that what she's?
I thought that was his parents. Or, maybe
Oh,
she
okay.
was considering options at the time. Like I think it was wild. I don't know the dates on this, and so correct me, but the only figure we kind of saw kind of be independent with her desires to be like a big star and to also be a mom was Angelina Jolie, who
Yeah.
adopted her son. Was it around the same time or like shortly after? Maybe.
Oof.
Because
I can't.
Maddox is like a teenager.
Yeah. I don't. It would be around. I can't. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, because like I really liked having these role models who were honestly exploring sort of these desires, because for
Mhm.
so long your upbringing is to be like, are you gonna just be a mom, or are you just gonna be like a career person? And to have like figures in the early 2000s kind of challenge that, or just be honest about the difficulties or their fears and insecurities about it, was really cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And yeah, this video's got it all, including a celestial
Mm-hmm.
Gwen Gwen Stefani just singing in the stars, with her hair covering her breast. Um
So ethereal,
so ethereal.
femininity.
Yes. Perfect. But no, I really like the video. I really like, it's one of their best songs, I would say. Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely for sure. No doubt should come back, make some more hits, do stuff.
Yes.
Do stuff. They were a fun band. Definitely enjoyed them around. I'm not afraid to evolve and change their sound. I will always
Yeah.
appreciate that and still feel true to them. And they kind of just they kind of evolved into what she became as a solo act, but she did fuel. I mean, she was the front and center of the band. Granted, this is a band that, while she is dominantly the person, like when I think of like back on like No Doubt, like I remember all four of them. Like unlike a lot, like, can you tell me what Collective Soul looks like aside from maybe the lead singer? They had big hits back then too, or stuff like that. There's a lot of bands where I'm like, I don't remember them like that, but they're definitely
like their personality is really shown. Like you,
right?
When you think of Blink 182, you think of each member and stuff, and same with No Doubt.
Yeah, but with Travis Barker, not the original drummer, who I can't recall who he is. But yeah, so cool. You got any more on No Doubt?
Yeah, so I actually feel really lucky. I was actually able to see them perform for their greatest hits tour. There are a lot of artists that I did not get to see that I grew up on, and you know, because they're not here anymore. You know, like Prince, David Bowie would have been.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could have seen them. And then other bands have like broken up. My Chemical Romance I did see a couple of times before they broke up, and I was supposed to see them for the reunion last year, and that got postponed.
Gotcha. Yeah, that stinks. I'm chalking up in a couple of weeks here. I'm going to Alanis Morissette and Garbage and Liz Phair, which I've never seen Alanis, but Garbage was the opener for my first concert, Smashing Pumpkins. So
nice.
I will see them for the first time since the 96, 97. That's when I saw that, my first concert. So looking forward to that. Safe concerts outside.
Yes, looking forward to music, just live music again.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's been good. It's been good to be back out and doing that. Hopefully it stay. Hopefully people can help out with the world so we can all keep doing the things.
We want to be doing the things.
We'd love it.
Please cooperate.
we know you want things to go back to normal. We've heard about it. Now put up or shut up. This is let me get my soapbox out of here. So all right, well, that'll do it for this week on the show. Sabina, it's always lovely to have you come in and light the place up. I feel fortunate to have had you 3 times now. Like I cherish each time. Like having Sabina once, I could retire. 3 times, I keep going. So
you know where to find me. So
I do. So just let people know where it's moving and shaking for you and where to keep up.
Yes, so I'm on Twitter at Sabina has no R, and on Instagram Graves. You can find the writing on comingsoon.net. I talk about genre movies, horror, Disney, sci-fi, fantasy, animation. I am a big enthusiast about all those things and theme parks, and we are coming up to spooky times, and I will be writing about Halloween haunts that are, going to be coming back at Universal Studios Hollywood. And you can also find me on my Halloween franchise podcast called Halloween Never Dies, which is available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Excellent. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4K, UHD, written work, WhySoBlue.com. The Brandon Peters Show might be back next week. It's like Labor Day. I don't know. Who knows? Stay tuned. Mystery. Will you get an episode next time? I don't know. But until whenever I'm back, always remember to keep the positivity in your online film chat.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.